And for the first time in the meeting, an odds-on favourite, KINGMAMBO, is a strong favourite, 5-2 on. Wharf, second favourite, 4-1. Needle Gun, 8-1, and 24 Folie, 16-1.
Phonic, who KINGMAMBO just beat in France early in the season. What a shame that Phonic isn't here to try and take his revenge. Cash just passed there by pedigree on Wharf, and there is 24 Folie, number 3, the third favourite, Jerry.
Yes, he's got a little bit warm on his way down to the start, John. He made his 3-year-old debut in the Craven Stakes at Newmarket, and he finished a good third behind Emperor Jones. He was only about a length and a half off the winner. His other 2 runs this season have been in Italy. On the last occasion, that was in Milan 9 days ago, turned in another good performance to finish a close third behind the useful Culture Vulture, and that's pretty good form. I could see him running himself into the picture. 14-1 from 16, somebody else does, John.
He was only just behind Wharf in the Craven Stakes, half a length behind. He was a 25-1 shot on that occasion, came very wide up the stand side and looked for a moment as if he was going to cause an upset, but in the end he finished third to Emperor Jones and Wharf. That's Needle Gun with 24 Folie. Needle Gun has run 6 times and has yet to win a race, but he has been second on 4 occasions, including his last 2, and definitely his best run on paper was when he was only a neck behind Commander-in-Chief at York just about a month ago, getting £6 from the winner, and he really looked almost sure to beat Commander-in-Chief inside the last furlong, but was worried out of it in the last 50 yards. Tony Donnelly gets £100 for the Best Turned Out award. He's being in charge of Needle Gun. Needle Gun was also in the King Edward VII Stakes, a race that's run just after we go off the air, over 1.5 miles. Clive Britton has elected to run him here. I think if the ground had remained fast, which it looked like doing after the very warm weather we had last week, if that good weather had been maintained, I think Needle Gun would have taken his chance in the 1.5 mile race. But I'm sure that in the absence of Phonic, Clive is very glad he's having a shot at this St James's Palace Stakes, which is one of the highlights of the meeting. Some years ago it used to be run as the last race on the card, but very rightly that was changed, because usually it is a tremendous race. Though the very first one I saw was a 2-horse race between the 2,000 guineas winner Venture the Seventh, trained in France, ridden by George Moore, and that was just a 2-horse affair, and he was something like 33-1 on. But normally it's a very competitive race, and a lot of the top milers meet in it. Last year, Brief Truce just got it in a very exciting finish. Pat Edry just having a chat with somebody aboard Wharf, the Stormbird colt. Starters calling out the draw for places, just to remind the jockeys, normally the odd numbers go in first. That's stalls 1 and 3, and then the even numbers, unless there are any horses that particularly need to go in early or late. But all these horses fairly cool, 3 of them anyway. 24 Folie was possibly just a shade, getting a shade warm on the way to the start. Needle Gun drawn at number 1. That's on the outside on this left-handed course. 2 of them in. 24 Folie is in, and Needle Gun is in. There's the favourite KINGMAMBO. Wharf is the last of the 4 to be installed. Just having a look, all the others went in perfectly. I think it won't be too long before Wolf joins them. And here's Peter O'Sullivan.
Wolf just a little bit restive under pedigree. Backs out again.
Blindfold.
And a blindfold's been called for. Wolf bidding to become Henry Cecil's 4th winner of this St. James's Palace Stakes, and KINGMAMBO, winner of the French 2,000 guineas during a season when Francois Boutin, and welcome Francois here to Ascot, has swept the board in the French Classics. KINGMAMBO bidding to become the first French-trained winner since venture in 1960. 5-2 on, 9-2 bar, that's it, they're all in, under orders, and they're away. Needle gun towards the right of the picture, KINGMAMBO on the near side. Between horses, Wolf and 24 Foli. Towards the left of the picture, KINGMAMBO. Over on the right, 24 Foli, but Needle Gun, the leader on the near side. 24 Foli going very wide and being chased by Wolf on the far side, and on the near side, it's Needle Gun and KINGMAMBO. Spread wide apart as they pass the 6th pole. 24 Foli on the far side from Wolf. On the near side, Needle Gun and KINGMAMBO. Needle Gun on the near side, being followed all the time by KINGMAMBO over on the far side. 24 Foli tracked by Wolf and coming over now abruptly towards the stand side. 24 Foli. Willie Carson looks over his right shoulder. Towards the left is Needle Gun, leading KINGMAMBO. Into the straight now. Needle Gun the leader from 24 Foli. Wolf and KINGMAMBO just the back marker of the quartet now as they're into the short Ascot straight. And Needle Gun is the leader from 24 Foli. Looking for room over on the far side, KINGMAMBO. And he's going to be eased out by Cash Moose. They're past the 2 marker. Needle Gun from 24 Foli on the right of the picture, and still looking for room is KINGMAMBO. KINGMAMBO, a slight collision there with Wolf, but quickening now, and KINGMAMBO quickens now as they race inside the final furlong. KINGMAMBO on the near side, Needle Gun on the far side. KINGMAMBO takes it up and is going to win it, and as they come to the line, KINGMAMBO wins the St. James's Palace Stakes. Needle Gun is second, 24 Foli is third, and fourth is Wolf. There could just be a steward's inquiry there, because these horses did come close together when Cash Asmussen was trying desperately to get out. But the 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 1993 St. James's Palace Stakes is first. Number 1, KINGMAMBO, owned by Mr. Stavros Niarchos, trained by Francois Boutin and ridden by Cash Asmussen. Second, number 2, Needle Gun, owned by Mr. Saeed Manana, trained by Clive Britton and ridden by Michael Roberts. And third, number 3, 24 Foli, owned by Jericho Italia, trained by John Dunlop and ridden by Willie Carson, with fourth, number 4, Wolf. And here is a heart-stopping thought as we reflect on the disqualification under very contentious circumstances of Cash Asmussen on Royal Gate in the Gold Cup. Will he be considered to have contravened the rules on KINGMAMBO? This is the big question that the stewards will have to deliberate following the announcement of stewards' inquiry.
Well, a dramatic and very confused race, and the confusion was caused by Pat Eddery and Willie Carson coming over to the far side, then coming back as they came round towards the straight to move over towards the stand rails, leaving Cash Asmussen, who'd always been tracking Needle Gun and Michael Roberts on the far rails, to have to either come through or barge his way, or round or barge his way through his rivals. Pat Eddery wasn't going to let him out. Willie Carson still pumping away there. Now half a split comes between Carson and Eddery. Cash goes for it, but was he entitled to? Did he brush Pat Eddery as he came through? Goes for his stick here. In the last furlong, Is he going to get there? Yes, he certainly is, because although Needle Gun's run a terrific race, he hasn't got the resources to hold King Mambo, but having won by length a little bit more, well, now you can see what the stewards are holding their inquiry about, because Cash Asmussen, with a line of 3 horses in front of him and only half a horse's width between each horses, would he go round as Peter anticipated he would at the 2 furlong marker? Right now he thinks, well, I may have left it too late to go for that, so he decides that he's going to go through. And here he comes. This is the moment. Was there a gap to go through there? Well, you can't really say that there was. And in getting through, has he brushed Pat Edery? Pat didn't have to stop riding, but the 3 of them have come very close indeed. And this is one of those inquiries where it's going to be a case of jockey's evidence. If Pat Edery said, well, there was a gap there, then Cash could get away with it. But certainly when he went for that gap, you'd have to say that there barely was a gap. He gets there. King Mambo is by far the outstanding horse in the race, but sadly this hasn't been a lucky country for Stavros Niarchos. He lost to 2,000 guineas, and there's a great danger now that he's going to lose at St James's Palace Stakes.
Well, of course, he lost the 2,000 guineas under very controversial circumstances with Nureyev, but I would be surprised if Nureyev's grandson loses the St James's Palace. King Mambo's Dam, of course, the great Miesque was by Nureyev, and a very controversial disqualification that was when he was ridden by Philippe Paquet at Newmarket. This was Cash's 4th ride in the St James's Palace. He was 4th in 84, 5th in 87, 7th in 88. He must have fancied his chances of being 3rd at one stage in this race, despite the fact that he had so much horse underneath him.
The distances, 1.5 lengths and 3/4 of a length.
Well, the distances were very conclusive, 1.5 lengths and 3/4 of a length. And subject to the outcome of the steward's inquiry, here are the starting prices.
And first, number 1, King Mambo, 5-2 on favourite. Second, number 2, Needle Gun, 13-2. And third, number 3, 24 Foglie, 16-1 for Rand.